So we will now quickly shift to the panel discussion. So if any of the viewers have any questions, please raise it in the chat and we will try and pick it up. So one thing that, throughout the discussion, we have been listening or, the viewers about technology. Technology is both indispensable, but it cannot be a smart city, cannot be driven only by technology. These are two things that have been that we have been seeing. So my first question to Gaurav Singhal. So when we speak about technology, like what do you think is the role of AI and predictive analytics in optimizing building energy performance at a city scale?
Thank you. Really, really, meaningful insight by all the esteemed panelists. So to answer your question, predictive analytics can predict energy demand, but ultimately it's human behavior that remain outside of this algorithm. So, Venkat sir also covered that, our education system, the entire education system need to be upgrade, upscale so that, it becomes inherited in our DNA that, we need to conserve power, we need to, conserve energy. But yes, of course, with the help of technology, AI, predictive analytics, a lot of problems can be solved, right? So AI and predictive analytics are basically helping cities move from reactive to energy problem to anticipating them, right? Assessing the problem before they occur. So instead of managing building one to one, cities are now starting to treat them as part of one connected urban energy system. I have seen this across the globe. Melbourne, in Australia, they use AI for climate modeling, smart building, and optimization to improve resilience. Similarly, I have seen this in Singapore, in Dubai, where they bring data from utilities, from infrastructure into one AI driven platform to optimize resources at a city scale. But we are in India, there's a different scenario where cooling demand and urban growth are increasing fast. The approach has to be practical, it has to be indigenous. So we need to take small step, start by deploying these smart systems, integrating data from smart meters, our building management system, and then on the top of this, as I've mentioned earlier, data is gold. So use AI, predictive analytics to something like, demand forecasting, optimizing your heating, cooling system, HVAC system across large building clusters, IT parks, and then gradually build district level digital twin to test future scenarios. At the end of the day, it's not about generating more power, right? Because resources are limited. Obviously, our honorable government, they are heavily investing in infrastructure projects, power project, but it's never ending. So it's about using what we already have more intelligently. For rapidly growing Indian cities, predictive energy management isn't just about upgrade, it's becoming a necessity. And I think AI and predictive modeling can greatly help into this. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gaurav, for your insights. So I hope Architect Riya is available now.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So as an architect, I would like to have some insights from you. So this is on flooding and water scarcity. So we see both these phenomena happening in every city, like most of the cities in India. So flooding and water scarcity often coexist in most of the Indian cities. So as an architect, how do you think urban planning should be done and building design should be, thought of in from point of drainage and proper water management? So from the perspective of a smart city.
Yeah, I'm glad that you have asked these questions. It's actually fall directly on my topic that I am doing my current research. So let me start my giving the answer within one statement that we the cities actually have to shift from a drainage engineering based development to a more water urban centric development. Because if we see, our cities does not lack the water, it does not have the water as a problem. It's just how we manage the water within the city. Okay. Now, flood happens. It's an climatic issue that happens. But how we manage it, that depends as a designer, as a planner, or as a urban governance, as a part of the urban governance. It is our responsibility, like how we'll make our cities more climate resilient or water sensitive for the future. So, because in the current planning pedagogy or the planning system, we take stormwater as a waste, not as an asset. Now, when we talk about the planning or design, stormwater became one of the key instruments which can, drive the water urbanism or water sensitive development factors. Now, if we see how the Indian cities are developing, everywhere we can see the concrete jungle. So 70-80% of the cities are losing the permeability. So the design factors comes into the picture, like how we'll create more open spaces and use more permeable, pavements for this water percolations and reduce the runoffs. Some sort of an urban design elements like bioswales or rain gardens, or using the water urban wetlands or the sponge landscaping system. These can actually help to reduce the flooding issues as well as the water scarcity that many cities are facing at this moment. And also there is a new term that has come to the picture, which is a blue-green infrastructure into the planning scale. So how will you take the existing natural infrastructure like ponds, step wells, lakes, or the river edge into the statutory master planning process? Because when we do the planning, we often forget about these major, natural assets. We always think about development without conserving or preserving these natural resources. And if we start, doing managing or protecting these natural resources, automatically our city will become more resilient for this kind of climatic factors like floods. And another, at the building level also, we think about, when we talk about a building design, we sometimes talk about the aesthetic of it, or mainly we'll talk about the functionality. But how a building can become, a rainwater harvesting system, if that can be integrated into a building system. Many cities are now taking it as a regulations. For a city like Ahmedabad, where water is which is a very water scarce city, they are using the giving a building bylaws where rainwater harvesting at the building level and the precinct level is mandatory. So these kind of initiatives is actually helping city to revive and how to manage the water scarcity that maybe has been created because we are unable to manage the design and the planning of the city. Now, if we have this proper planning system, a systematic and statutory planning of keeping in mind all the natural elements and the drainage system as well as the road pattern, I think that will make our cities more resilient for these kind of climatic hazards like flood. And even also, water would be one of the precious thing for the city, which, save and regular use. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ria, for your insights. So, can I have Dr. Khan's insights on these? I hope Dr. Khan is available.
Yeah, actually, what I think architects and urban designer can bridge the gap between siloed infrastructure system by adopting area-based integrated planning, which has shown better outcome than isolated pilot projects. Instead of the planning roads, water, and energy in departmental siloed, spatial planning should integrate land use, transport, and utilities to ensure cities and energy in recover faster from climatic shocks. Yeah. So this one is the gap between through the spatial planning and integrating water as a climate infrastructure rather than treating lakes mere landscape or beautification projects, and linking mobility and urban form Urban designers can align transport corridor with higher density, mixed use development, and coordinating corridors and grids. Success in the complex projects such as temple corridor depends on the institutional coordination. So these are the means of bridging gap between through the spatial planning, which we can adopt for the smart cities.
Okay, thank you
Thank
for that. So, my next question is to Mr. Prabhakar. So, you are someone who has worked on different cities and, different landscape basically. So, but I would like to know what building codes and planning regulations are governing smart city planning currently, the infrastructure and their functioning in India.
See, in India, the National Building Code, with respect to a smart city, and even the time to time the various guidelines and the codes has been developed, or bylaws also has been looked upon, building bylaws and the various codes, building codes and various norms, considering the demand of current situation, having backing of the smart city concept, the transit oriented development concept, because the walkability, the work to home, and all these last mile connectivity, all these concepts, on the basis of that, the various schemes and guidelines have been issued. It is not as a panelist also said that in planning perspective or in other things, the various aspects need to be covered. If you see the various aspect, even in the master plan or a smart city plan, various aspect has been covered, but it is more about the enforcement things. If you see, I just take an example. In building bylaws or as per the codes, it is mandatory that the earthquake resistant structure need to be constructed. But how efficiently and how with quality efficient structure has been created, and just on the basis of just structural certification, it is approved and the building, high-rise building, is constructed. Whether the full norms have been properly adopted or not, first, it is the enforcement thing. Second, if fire safety norms, the standard is there. What should be the width of road, what should be the height of, what activity is permitted. All these things are already defined. But if it is not properly, strictly adhered or not implemented, like you have seen, various in Delhi, various incidents have occurred, whether it is related to fire, whether it is related to flooding in institutional area, where in basement area, in coaching center, the flooding suddenly happens and few students lost their lives. So norms is there, but how effectively or enforcedly it is adopted. So that's why the e-governance, the transparency in e-governance, the online system of the public participation and citizen gravations, and that digitization of the all e-governance system, that will also play a very crucial role in making the smart city norms and smart city functions effective. Otherwise, because there are two, three things. One is planning. We plan the things. Second, we implement the things. And third, we govern the things. Unless all three are at the same pace, and all three are not all three are communicating with each other and dedicatedly follow the things. Once the synergy between the planning, implementing, and governing, these three synergy will be seamless, then maximum problem will be solved. And just give you an example. For solid waste management, we make the dustbin, we make the dumping collection site, and we make the dumping site. All these things we properly make. But take the example of the capital city of India, Delhi, and everywhere we see the every dustbin or every collection center, that dustbin is empty, but in surrounding, all the waste are disposed of. Norms is there. As per the norms, implementation is there, but where is governance? And fourth thing I want to add it, that is the capacity building and knowledge transfer to the citizens, because it is the responsibility of each and every citizen to make their city smarter. It is not only the planning, it is not only the implementing thing and governing thing, but the fourth pillar, that is the citizen participation. Unless the citizen participation, the knowledge transfer, the capacity building, the various workshops, various public engagement thing will not happen, then whatever the norms you make, whatever the strictness you follow, that will not properly be effective. So this fourth aspect, which generally neglected, need to be emphasized more. Then only we can make our city smarter.
Thank you for your insights, sir. So I would like to have Mr. Venkat's attention. So one is in the Indian context, how difficult is it to upgrade existing functioning cities with smart infrastructure? Because I think most of the cities are currently old cities where we've already had people living for several years now.
Yeah, see, I think it's important is like it's a brownfield versus greenfield city. Is it that what you're actually talking about, right?
Yes, that way.
Right. So, see, what we have, most of our experience actually comes from putting up brownfield. We have also worked on greenfield smart cities, like for example, the industrial townships that we are working with, the Delhi, Noida industrial township. We are actually working in making their industrial township a smarter city, right? So the problems exist both sides, right? In new greenfield cities, the challenge is you don't have the users existing on the ground, right? So you don't know what type of people are actually going to be using that system, right? But whereas in brownfield, you know the ecosystem well, right? So what is important is, yes, you will actually have a challenge in terms of, it's a challenge that you need to retrofit things, right? But what is important is, in India, let's say, how did we do success with our UPI system? UPI system was not a necessity for us. We retrofitted a new type of financial ecosystem into the existing. Banking system was so well designed and well structured, it was already existing, right? So what did UPI do? UPI actually has enhanced the abilities of the bank to bring in more people into the ecosystem, into the banking system, and enable their transactions to be digital. And they are actually coming into the purview of the banks. Earlier, there was a lot of informal cash ecosystem that was there. Now, just imagine, can we do something smart in a way to actually see how I can retrofit my existing ecosystem with a smart design, a frugal design, which every one of us can actually adopt, right? So that is the innovation that we need to do. And I'm pretty sure we can always do that part. Like, for example, because I come from a traffic engineering background, so I try to take that as an example. Now, when we do signals in cities like Hyderabad or Bangalore or other cities, we are retrofitting the signaling system, right? But what is important is, if I'm able to make sure my civil design is done and infra is adjusted or built, and on that I'm actually putting up my digital infrastructure. But all these three designed based on the people who are going to use that junction, right? The traffic that is actually going to be using that part and the corridor effect that is actually going to come into that part. If you're able to take into account all that and build the three layers, I don't see any challenge in why we cannot retrofit a good signaling system into any of the cities. So today you go to any of our signaling corridors, we make sure that the junctions are properly first done. Then we put the digital infrastructure on top of it. Then we make sure that the operational guidelines are also put up to make sure that this is actually operating properly and delivering the outcomes properly. So I think I don't think it is not, it's not impossible, but it is definitely possible, but will happen only when we are frugal and innovative in actually making and structured and inclusive, like other speakers were actually talking about. If you're inclusive and take into account every other stakeholder and then start designing the system before we jump into implementing, I'm sure that is a possibility.
Okay, thank you for your insights. Anybody else would like to add anything on this question? Okay. So my next question to Gaurav. So it's about again about technology. So I think not all cities can be made into smart cities. So when you think of smart cities, do you think because of the data-driven functioning of smart cities, do you think there's going to be a difference in how the citizens will behave in smart cities and when compared to those of traditional or conventional, the normal cities? Do you think that is going to bring a lot of divide in between the citizens? I think it's a question to Gaurav, and I would also like to have everybody else's views on this.
Thank you, Anupama. I think that's a tricky one. Classic smart city paradox. So are we actually making cities smarter, or we are just adding layers of technologies, sensors, So IoT can truly enhance quality of life if smart cities stay focused on empowering people, right? So not just connecting devices. So if our entire ecosystem remember that the data belong to the citizen, not just the servers, right? So every decision have to be thought, it has to be intelligent. And you have rightly said, there is a risk, right, that the technology might bring a digital divide as well, because half of our India, not to pinpoint, obviously India is progressing in a right direction, but not everybody is a tech savvy, right? So bringing technology, IoT, sensors, so it's not really going to help everybody. That's what we feel. But I strongly believe that IoT infrastructure definitely has the power to improve everyday's life. You might get directly connected to the technology, or you might have a perceived or indirect benefit of that technology, right? But it's nowadays our day-to-day life is connected to technology, right? Like smarter traffic systems can reduce traffic congestions, right? Connected water power network can reduce wastages. Real-time monitoring of the system can help our citizens to respond to their problems. What I have typically seen, we as a citizen, when personally I have any problem, I go to the Twitter and I post onto their Twitter handle that these are the underlying problem in my area. Then someone from the authority respond back this to me, right? But why can't we have a system that predicted, so there is no requirement to complain about it, right? So in a simple term, the system should allow citizen to the authority to anticipate the issue instead of just reacting to them. So I think that's going to be a problem solver. But like you have mentioned, the digital divide. So here is a catch. If these services depend too much on the technology, and the benefit may mostly reach to those who are already well connected, right? Without careful design, technology can unintentionally widen this gap instead of closing it. Government of India has taken, a lot of initiative to narrow down this gap, this divide. A lot of scheme that government has initiated, and now with the help of their CSC centers, VLEs in the villages. A lot of people are able to access these digital services, but it's still not 100%, not 90%. It's much lesser than that. So we need to design agile systems, right? Systems which are more resilient, so that technology can reach to the last mile, to the every corner of this country. Your second related question related to data, I think government may operate the system. Private companies and system integrators from the companies like my panel members are there, so we can provide technology, we can provide platform, government can operate those system, can have data, citizen generate so much data, but the real question is how responsibly that data is handled, right? We always have a fear in mind, whether my data is protected or not. So the entire technology system should be transparent enough, ethically protected, and that they should be used for the public good. So again, I would repeat, a smart city is not defined by how many sensors you install, how many technology devices you have. It's rather how fairly and wisely it uses the intelligence that these sensors generate. So I would like to quote, a line, India's vision for 2047, the AI, urbanization, predictive modeling, this will be a triple engine, mantra powering new India, which is at the cusp of 2047. And today, I would like to thank all the panelists, organizers, and participants, for your time. And I would like to invite you think beyond the projects and reflect on transformation, beyond infrastructure and reflect on intent, right? Beyond technology, reflect on leadership. Because smart cities are not built through procurement, they are built through purpose. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Anybody would like to add anything to this particular point on, the data divide? Okay, so I guess no. I would like to have another question. Now we speak about smart cities. I think we are running short of time, so I would just really want to accelerate my questions. So we speak about smart cities. So once we design and then the cities start functioning as smart cities. So how are we measuring that? Are they really going in the right direction? This is actually a question to everybody. Anybody can come in, and I would really invite anyone to answer this question. So how one is the data which is showing up. Apart from that, like how are we really looking at the functioning of a smart city and whether it is really on those lines?
See, just I want to comment on that. Since Indian cities were more lacking in the basic things, basic infrastructure, all these things. So with the initiative of this smart city mission, first the basic gaps, maximum basic gap was tried to be fulfilled, and it has achieved, because unless in India, in Indian scenario, you take any project or any scheme, unless it is on the mission mode, it cannot be achieved at the that pace of time. Like PMAY, every houseless person need to be given home. The houseless people, the scheme was at the mission mode, and the maximum person got the houses, Pakka house. Similarly, through a smart city mission, at least first we achieved the maximum infrastructure gap that was fulfilled. And parallelly, the various solutions, intelligent solutions, whether it is traffic intelligence solution, whether it is SCADA system, whether it is control command sensor, everything that was implemented. It will take time, because it is not a one-time thing. Okay, one time a smart city 1.0 is floated and mission was accomplished. It is not like a movie mission like that. It is a regular continuous process. At least we have achieved some steps up, and it will continue with various interventions. And nowadays digital, what Mr. Gaurav was telling, definitely the digital, I want to comment on that. Okay, nowadays the younger generation, you see that every person is, even a child is equipped with the digital things. So for upcoming things, digital platform will not regulating the digital platform will not be a problem, but definitely the data threat, the security threat, the cyber security threat, those need to be addressed very efficiently, otherwise everything will be in chaos. So we have to take very careful steps, but definitely with this smart city mission, the things has been achieved, not at the top maximum level, but it will one day it will achieve, because the stairs has been made and we have to just step up.
Great. Thank you so much. Anybody else would like to add?
I would like to add just one point in it. Like through the smart cities, if we, smart means not only technological intelligence, but also the infrastructure and ecological intelligence. So, if our cities are able to manage the resources, ecosystems, and the people wisely, I think in future the cities are going to be not only smart, but also resilient and inclusive, and definitely future ready. So that is what is the smart cities mission, and the cities transformations are needs to be directed to.
Okay, great. Thank you, Ria. So one last question that I wanted to take was, we spoke about moving, looking at smart city beyond technology and technology integration. So it's an open question to all of you. So what governance models are needed to align architects, technologists, policymakers, citizens, and all other stakeholders in smart city development? Anybody can start, and I would really like to have everybody's insights.
I think, esteemed panel member has already covered. I would like to only pick up one point and resonate with Prabhakar ji, where he has said that, the 100 smart city mission of Government of India, right? So that was just the beginning. A lot of people ask me, what would happen only creating 100 smart cities? And by and large, the mission got started in 2015. So that mission was a foundation stone, right? That was actually to set up prototype, right? A guiding, a beacon, right? Because before 2015, we never knew what is a smart city, right? We roam, we go outside India, Europe, Singapore, we see fancy countries, and then we come in India and we talk about, those cities are covered with cameras, their power systems, water systems are intelligent. So I think, this mission was just to set the foundation layer for the smart cities. And now, after 10 years, so much learning, we got collectively as India, as a nation, right? A lot of companies, consulting lobbies, our bureaucracy, policy makers, they all gain a lot of experience, right? By doing those 100 prototype smart city. Now the requirement is moving this smart city initiative from tier 1, tier 2 city to tier 3 city. Every city need to come up, they need to become more resilient, and moving from a national project, now it has the time is the time has come, it has moved to the state level, city, district level, some sort of smart initiative every city has to take. So that's all I want to add, and really thank you so much, Prabhakar ji, for bringing this point. Completely resonate with you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Ria or Prabhakar, anybody wants to add on this? Because what is more important is collaborative approach. Anything to add? You can just do. I think I have just 1 minute left.
Yeah, previously as I told you that there are 4 things, that planning, implementing, governance, and the public citizen participation. Because this city is of the city for the of the citizen for the citizen. So citizen plays a very crucial role also. If as a citizen, if I think everything will be done by the everything be done and everything be provided by the government and free of cost, then we are not, as a citizen, we are not participating in the development of the city. So these four things, the collaborative approach is very essential. And in this, I think my personal opinion is that for the collaborative approach and inclusive approach, the digital transformation will play a very important role, because through that various portals, various online system, only everybody, every department or every pillars will interact each other. Like one of our panelists told that we have to communicate with each other. Means each and every aspect need to be communicated with each other. And physically, it is not possible. It is maximum possible through our digital transformation. So it will play a very pivotal role in that collaborative approach.
Thank you, sir. And for want of time, I think we will have to close the session now, because I think it's a very nice interaction that we have had. I thank all my speakers for taking up their coming back with their insightful points, and